Are you ready to jump into some true crime docs, crime thrillers, and more? Check out our website for an extensive list of our favorite movies and shows at thesirenspodcast.com/whatwewatch and find our favorite true crime and thriller books and authors, some covered on the show, at thesirenspodcast.com/author alley. You can even find special deals for Amazon Music, Audible, Discovery Plus, Paramount Plus, Showtime, and even Grubhub. If you're looking to jump in immediately, check out our pinned Facebook post for some streaming service free trials on us.
You're listening to Sirens, a true crime podcast, brought to you by the Sirens Network. This podcast contains explicit content, so listener discretion is advised. The opinions expressed on this podcast are solely the views of the hosts and do not reflect the views of affiliates, associates, or sponsors of this podcast. This is Sirens, a true crime podcast.
Pam Trusty, December 2013. Pam was the survivor, one of the 5.
We've said that like every time, by the way. And they're like, oh, Nancy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Nance. Like, we've done it every day. Pam, what happened to you, Pam?
Pamela, no.
So, Duntsch, to him, this was a success. She was one of the 5 successful, air quotes, successful surgeries. Oh. He asked her to come back in after her surgery, told her that he was selected as Dallas's #1 neurosurgeon. Trusty was asked to come in and do an infomercial on her successful surgery. She thought that she would be doing a video about the award, not an infomercial. So he straight up lied to her. She ended up being on an infomercial after he persuaded her to do it. Didn't even talk about her actual surgery. Just said, oh, my surgery was such a success and I couldn't have made it without Dr. Duntsch and all this bullshit. And that infomercial is actually what had made another patient down the road come in and choose Dr. Duntsch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's
And
a
it's not
smart
this lady's
man,
fault.
and he knows.
No, it's not.
No, not at all.
No, that's not what I was saying.
She
He's
does. She
predator.
feels guilty about it. Yeah, but
She should not feel guilty
it
about it.
wasn't.
She was fucking
No,
dude.
it wasn't her.
He
fault.
is a predator.
Yes, absolutely.
He is hunting.
He persuades.
He put out bait.
He needed more.
He's
yeah.
got a silver tongue.
Holy
These
shit.
people exist.
Just as quick as he can get them. So then, April 2013, Philip Mayfield, a professional truck driver for nearly 20 years, he had chronic back pain. While he was under, Duntsch damaged his spinal cord. He actually drilled into it, leaving him partially paralyzed from the neck down.
We hadn't done that yet.
Hadn't done that yet.
No. After undergoing physical rehabilitation, Mayfield was able to eventually walk with a cane or a walker for the rest of his life, but he continued to experience paralysis on the right side of his body and in his left arm, just periodically. He also reported shooting pain through his body, and he was taken eventually to a different hospital, received a new doctor, but the spinal cord had already been so damaged that it was irreversible.
Shit. Can you imagine, like, you're holding your kid in your arms, like, oh God.
Yeah.
Jesus
Also,
Christ.
I wanted to say both Jerry and Philip Mayfield passed away. I think we said Jerry passed away, but Philip Mayfield died of COVID-19 in February 2021.
Oh.
His wife is
Phil.
adamant it was because he was immunocompromised by all of the surgeries.
Yeah, I would
Actually, that's
100%
true.
believe that.
Yep,
Yeah.
that classifies as immunocompromised.
Yeah.
That poor
I know. So,
COVID.
Jeff Glidewell, June 2013, he's the one that saw the infomercial and came in. He had been hoping to relieve his back pain. He'd been suffering from a motorcycle accident he had in 2004. He reluctantly went ahead with the procedure after reassurances from Dr. Duntsch and his wife. And while in there, Duntsch severely maimed him after mistaking part of his neck muscle for a tumor during a routine cervical fusion. He severed one of his vocal cords, cutting a quarter-size hole in his esophagus and slicing an artery. Duntsch then stuffed a surgical sponge in to stop the bleeding and closed with it still in there. The sponge obviously triggered a severe infection, caused him to become septic, and then another doctor had to go in and pull it out of there because Duntsch refused to help remove the sponge. He refused to go back in.
It's insane that they can refuse these things, but they can. I mean, you
Well,
can't
at this
make
point,
them.
at this point, I just hate all hospitals now.
Yeah,
And
I
everyone who
mean,
works there.
you should
Strong
always
work
be
will-
cautious.
what the fuck are
You should
doing?
always be cautious.
But isn't that part of like a narcissistic brain? Like, no, I didn't do anything
yeah,
wrong,
yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
not going to fix it.
Yeah.
There's nothing to fix. Like, stupid. It's so dumb.
It's like a denial of responsibility almost.
It's a denial of reality.
Yeah.
Well, no, you know what? It's all secondary symptom. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He is written away from that.
So
he doesn't care, but he doesn't want other doctors telling him that he messed up. You
yeah,
know?
yeah,
So it's
exactly.
like it doesn't have to make sense.
So he actually woke up paralyzed in his left side. He was left with only one vocal cord. He couldn't talk for a long time. He was labeled as a no-contact patient while he was in the hospital.
Don't touch him, don't talk to him?
Yes, because he was so bad. Because they were afraid that if they made him talk in any way, it would mess up that vocal cord.
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
Well,
Well, how
they
did they
tell-
do to keep you from...
Well, they just leave you alone in that room, and you
Yeah.
usually are under a pretty heavy sedation.
Okay,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what I was
So you
going to
just-
ask.
just leave you in the
sleep.
bed.
He said he couldn't feel his feet. He couldn't move his left arm. He couldn't talk. He was in more pain than he had ever been in his life. And Duntsch told his wife that they had to abort the surgery, like in the middle of the surgery, because he had discovered a tumor, a cancerous tumor. He thought it was cancerous, and basically doing the rest of the surgery was pointless if he needed treatment for it. So he removed the tumor
Not his job.
and sent it off to
Not
get
your
a
job.
biopsy.
Not your job.
It wasn't tumor. It was not a tumor. It was just muscle.
Did it get sent off?
It did get sent
Oh
off.
my! So
They-
you can just hand people send that off to get it tested as a tumor.
That's a finger.
Doctor, that's a
Yeah,
hot dog.
Apparently,
Well,
That is a
he's the
ballpark,
doctor.
Frank.
He's the doctor. I
Yeah.
guess I better do it.
it did get sent off, and it was not cancerous. So.
Like, I assume that tumors look pretty different than like the stuff that's supposed to be in your body.
They absolutely do.
So, like, if he just cut out some muscle, like, hey, this
He
might
sh-
be a tumor.
He should be able
Are they
to.
not in clear
Maybe he just wanted to
tubs?
see if the idiots would fucking send it off.
Is it
Dude,
like-
the guy was crazy. Stop asking why.
No, I'm not. I'm
told
not
you
talking
why.
about him at this point. I'm not. I'm talking about like.
The lab tech that took the sample.
Is it not?
Why
a
didn't he
clear
look down
thing?
at it and go,
Is it like
this is like
completely
neck
sealed?
muscle? What is...
He probably did. But the fact of the matter is that this is a neurosurgeon giving orders.
Maybe he thought he just cut really wide around it, and it was just like a little guy in the middle, and
You
you
know,
didn't see
there was another group of people that were just following orders.
it. Oh.
He has got you there.
I mean, I'm not arguing.
Another group of people
I'm not.
just
Just
I'm
following
just
orders.
saying.
following order. That did not go well, historically, if you think about it.
Well,
And I mean, I'm also not in that situation. I don't know, but you would think that like word would spread around that hospital, like, hey, just don't do what this guy tells you.
this one, it did.
Did it?
Yes, because you had Brown, and then you had Eford, and then you've got Glidewell, and all of these are within that.
And within
week.
Ether and Brown, those are a day apart.
Brown and Eford were, yeah.
But they were. I
Day
thought they were
apart.
at
Those were a
the
day
bigger
apart.
hospital.
Yeah, it was.
And then he's moved to the smaller
It was,
hospital.
yeah.
I
But
was at the little guy.
after Henderson did the salvage surgery, there's stuff going down.
They're onto him.
Well, yes, and here's the thing. This one, Dr. Kirby came in and had to do a resalvage on it, and to repair the damage. And he later described what he found after opening Glidewell back up as the work of a, quote, crazed maniac. Kirby said, quote, he was septic, he had a bad blood-borne infection, pus was actually pouring out of his neck along with saliva. Yeah, Dr. Duntsch left the sponge in because if he pulled the sponge out, Mr. Glidewell would have exsanguinated. He'd have bled to death. But, that's not any long-term solution. That sponge has got to be removed, so you have to take care of what you injured. End quote.
Good God.
Yeah. So now you have Henderson and Kirby. And you have Hoyle, these three doctors who are on to him now because he's jumped to these different places. And at least one good doctor at each place has been like, hold on a second.
Which is another description, I guess, of a
Another red flag?
sociopath. Yeah, they can't keep jobs very long.
Yeah.
They kind of have to jump from job to job because people
Somebody will
eventually
catch
figure
on.
them out. Yeah.
Yeah, so Kirby later told Glidewell that it was clear that Duntsch had tried to kill him. He just straight up was like, how is this not, attempted murder?
Seriously, to leave that sponge in there like that is gross negligence.
Yeah.
And even if you want to make an argument
At
that it
best,
wasn't, they told him to go back and get it, and he said no.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is gross. That's just malpractice. It's abuse. It's negligence. You're a piece of shit.
So Kirby also claimed that it looked like as if Duntsch had tried to decapitate Glidewell, and contended that such a botched surgery, quote, has not happened in the United States of America before. In his career, he's never seen one so bad.
Jesus.
So Glidewell was reportedly still suffering the ill effects of the operation years later. This poor guy has, in his lifetime, undergone 50 corrective procedures.
Damn. 5-0.
It's like he wanted to make sure, again, that
Yeah.
you couldn't fix this. Maybe he hoped he died so he wouldn't have to deal with the repercussions,
He had to have. We were talking about that earlier, how you were
Yeah.
like, okay, well, he's ending them.
Yeah.
Because he failed, and he can't let anyone know that he failed.
So Jeff did eventually regain the use of his left side after a bunch of other surgeries, but this one did prove to be Duntsch's last surgery.
Thank fucking God for that.
Yeah, University General pushed him out soon afterward. Glidewell did make a complaint with the medical board, so that's the second patient that's made a complaint. But they told him that he needed a police report in order to make a complaint with the medical board. When he went to make a police report, the police told him that was a civil matter that needed to be settled in civil court, not a criminal thing. And so Glidewell was like, what are you supposed to do? Like, these people are telling me that I need this, and these people are telling me they can't do anything.
That's when you get a lawyer.
Is that
Yeah.
true?
And you have-
Legal people? Is it
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Well-
I guess it depends on a lot of factors.
It does, yeah. Yeah, the biggest thing about trying a case like this in criminal court is intent,
Yeah.
number one.
Oh, did he mean to harm?
Exactly.
Which that's going to be shaky because you're on the table because he meant to repair.
You could, and you could always chalk it up to negligence, but also you have to have, because cases like this have to go in front of a jury. And that jury is full of lay people. And you have to somehow explain all this medical jargon and how badly it was botched, and able for that entire jury to say, yes, we understand 100% fully what happened, and we can make a decision as to whether he did it on purpose, didn't do it, negligence, what was it, incompetence, whatever.
Now,
Yeah,
see,
and not just that, you have to think about everybody else that was in the room, and they're like, "Oh, why weren't these other people?" Oh, that's interesting,
Yeah.
well, I mean, okay, but so you're entitled to a trial by a jury of your peers.
That's what I'm saying, but technically, the technical term is just a American citizen.
Okay. So that seems dumb.
It is.
I know.
This would have been an open and shut case if there were 12 doctors in the
that's
fucking
what I was
box.
saying.
That
Put 12 doctors on the jury and see what happens.
it would be an open and shut case regardless. It's not that hard. Like, people aren't completely stupid. I mean, y'all have explained this to me, and I get it.
Yeah, but
pretty
he
easily.
can only sue for
And I
his
mean,
surgery. They're not going to sit there and talk. I don't think they allow.
But even just his surgery, like that's what
the
you
rest
do
of
in
the
a
surgeries.
trial is you have experts come up. They
Yeah.
just explain and be like, there's no way that he should be practicing medicine like this.
I
is
don't
insane.
know. They'd subpoena a bunch of
And you-
doctors that wouldn't want to be there. I don't
Yeah.
know what way it would go.
Well, those
I don't know.
three might. I mean,
Well, and you
oh,
also have to think about the police. Sometimes, I mean, this seems complicated, so maybe they don't know what they need or what they're looking for. Like, sometimes people, when they should say, I don't know, let me refer you to someone or let me find it out,
Don't.
they just don't. So, in this case, they just didn't. But that's okay, because after Glidewell's salvage surgery he performed, Dr. Randall Kirby wrote a detailed complaint to the medical board.
Kirby!
Yeah. He called Duntsch a sociopath who was a clear and present danger to the citizens of Texas.
Whoa.
He said, quote, "In my opinion, we had a serial killer in our medical community," end quote.
I mean, is he wrong?
No, I don't think he is.
He's not
No.
wrong.
No. Well, I mean, okay, so technically, a serial killer is 3 or more thought out. We all know that. And he only killed 2 of his patients. But, again, intent. Did he intend to do this? Because if he did, that's 30-something attempted murders.
I wonder if he didn't have a team of staff in the room. If surgery were soloably performed, you know, if he
Like
could,
just him?
they would have died.
he would have
They're
killed
the
every
ones
one of
that-
them.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, absolutely.
The
Yeah, for
blood
sure.
There's
pressure
no doubt.
on every single one of them, and he ignored it.
Yeah.
Blatant.
So I
Yeah,
mean, they
they'd
all
have died.
would have died.
Yeah, they would have died.
If they hadn't gone back in and fixed some of them, like the guy with the sponge, he would have died. So
under heavy lobbying from Henderson and Kirby, who have both now written the...
shouldn't have to be heavy lobbying.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Under the polite request of one dude.
Yeah. These
Put a
2
strongly
doctors
worded letter.
who both made complaints to the Texas Medical Board, they actually did suspend Duntsch's license on June 26th, 2013. They didn't revoke it. They suspended it pending investigation.
They should have
Okay.
took it out of
Well,
his wallet
you
and
got to
made
investigate.
him eat it.
Cut
I
it
get
in
that they
half.
got to investigate, but
All right, fine, whatever.
at the very least, it's not. Why don't you just move on down the road and we'll give you a letter?
Yeah,
Like it was
or-
the other 3
Yeah.
times.
Or only do minimally invasive.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We're gonna let you cut just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I definitely blame Baylor.
So,
Big time.
Dude,
Big
seriously,
time. They dropped the
Baylor
ball.
is the culprit here.
They are
They're
such a
exactly
well-known,
as
great
culpable as he is.
Yeah,
I
mean,
agree
knowing
with that
shit's going on.
100%. But then who do you... The medical director? You're not going to touch that guy.
So up to this point, he has had 38 patients. 33 of them were seriously injured, including 2 deaths and 1 quadriplegic.
One of which was his
Best friend.
His
Yeah.
best friend
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah. So,
I mean, good God, man.
I mean, like it'd be like you operating on me, you know, and then
with no knowledge of
Yeah.
medicine
Mm-hmm.
whatsoever. You just trusted me to do it, and then I murdered
I wake
you
up and I'm a head in a jar
because
you
I
know?
always wanted to murder you.
yeah.
That's so insane.
so
to me.
I want to talk about a psychopath versus a sociopath.
Oh, it's you, Em.
And can you be both at the same time?
No. Although they're in the DSM, they're both an antisocial personality disorder. So they both have they can have similar traits, but like sociopaths can. Every sociopath is probably narcissistic, but not every narcissist is a sociopath.
So are psychopaths not narcissistic as well?
I suppose they can be, but not all of them are.
Most of them are sociopathic.
I'd say the biggest difference is like violence
Oh.
and anger. Sociopaths also don't think long term. You know, which is kind of
They like need to fill the need right now.
Yeah, just like, you know, he didn't want to keep getting fired, but he couldn't stop messing up his surgeries, you know.
But he couldn't help it
So
because every time he got in there, he needed to poke
He
and
needs
prod.
to do it. That's the compulsion. That's what makes me wonder, like, what differentiates him into sociopathy versus psychopath.
So I have some things right here. I'm gonna read. You tell me if it sounds familiar of a sociopath. Habitual liar,
Okay, yeah.
manipulative, easily bored, in constant need of stimulation, shows no remorse, rationalizes wrongdoing, says people deserve it, shallow emotions, lack of empathy, exploits the goodwill of others, especially financially, sexually promiscuous, impulsive, self-absorbed and egocentric, behaves recklessly, accepts no responsibility for actions, has behavior problems as a child, lacks inhibitions, has no long-term goals, has many short-term relationships, no respect for authority, including the law, thinks they're never wrong, may be highly intelligent but has no conscience. So, what part of that, like that's a sociopath. If we went down the psychopath alley, what would we be missing for him? Because that sums him up, I think.
Yeah,
I feel
absolutely.
like.
I thought you were going to ask which one of these are him, and I was going to go, all of this, all of them.
Yeah.
All him.
Well, he did have that one blow up though with Tex, right, on the phone.
Yeah.
No,
so,
he yelled at him in person.
Yeah, he just cussed him.
He cussed him out when he
cussed
asked him
him
about
out.
the guy that died.
Oh, I thought he called him or something.
No. So Tex called him. Yeah, he called him.
Oh, he called him on the
and
phone.
asked him about it. But he wasn't like explosive about it. He was just like, you shouldn't be second guessing me because I'm your doctor and I'm the best there is, and just stuff like that. Like trying somehow to reassure him, but in a
Well, he can't get him off the line. He's got him hooked.
Yeah.
He can't let him off.
Yeah.
He's got to reel him all the way in.
yeah. And so I guess by the end of that conversation, he had reinstilled confidence in himself somehow. But yeah, there's
Using
never
that charm.
yes, that silver tongue charm, but there's never been any incidents of like explosive
Okay, I thought
anger or
I was
anything like
picturing
that.
that in my head.
The
Oh my
letter,
God.
the email,
No.
the
Yeah.
email.
Hold on, because I missed something. Hold on. I meant to tell you guys this, and I forgot.
Shit just got real.
Shit just got real that morning after he came in and he fought with the staff about going to check on Brown, right? And Brown later passed away. So while he was in surgery on Mary Eford, he was just like out of nowhere suggested that they should do brain surgery on Brown.
What?
Yeah. He said that it would relieve the pressure and that it would save her life.
If we take her brain out, then
What?
He was in the middle of surgery.
No
He was in
more
the middle of surgery, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, you know what we should do? Brain surgery. That's what would fix
what the
it."
fuck?
Yeah. So
So,
It's like,
okay.
man, you know what would be really cool right now, guys?
brain surgery.
Brain surgery.
He's such a dude in there under the knife. I mean, you just don't see that. I don't do any of my procedures, man. I zone out. I get in the, I don't talk. I don't look at anything but exactly what I'm doing. I'm very focused. That's why I get it when they say you're not allowed to talk to him while he's performing.
Yeah.
Because that's where I'm at. I need to do this perfectly.
Oh, yeah. If I was
Please
a patient,
don't
like,
look at me.
No one talk to this guy.
So I get that, but he's such a dude under the knife. He's like, hey,
Yeah.
watch this, and like pokes it, like he's so fucking around. Yeah, that old Travelocity commercial. You remember that where he's
Yeah.
like, I gotta do this right now. I gotta look for flights and hotels. And he's just stabbing those things. Like, that's satirical, but
Yeah.
that's what's happening to these people.
So Dallas Medical during this surgery, he was at Dallas Medical. He was operating on Eford. Dallas Medical in no way had the proper equipment or personnel for such an operation. This was supposed to be like an outpatient type place.
Translation: 12 people went, what? No.
Exactly. No, that's exactly what happened. They were like, We can't do that here. And that nurse, that same nurse that we listened to earlier, he actually told him, yeah, we don't do that here. And he's not even, Duntsch isn't even qualified to do that type of surgery. But he was just like, he told him.
He just wanted to see if they let him do it. Yeah.
He told this nurse to leave the surgery he was currently in and go prep an OR for Brown so that he could do brain surgery.
Oh my God!
Can you imagine what he had done? What he would have done if they let him in there? Just
The
scrambled
nurse,
their brains.
I know, and the nurse kept telling him like, "We don't do that here, and I'm not doing that." And Duntsch actually said at one point, "I'm a doctor and you're the nurse, so you're going to do what I tell you." He told him that if he wasn't going to go prep an OR for him, he needed to go get his boss, like the head nurse. And yeah, and so
a head nurse would have. I mean, if he knows that at his level. The head nurse is
Yes.
some 55-year-old lady that's she's seen things you can't imagine. She will bite the soft parts of his face.
Well, here's the deal.
Wish she would have went and got him.
He did leave.
Oh,
Did he go get his nurse boss? Oh my God, did she fist fight him?
He was on the way to get the head nurse when he ran into the medical director.
Ooh,
Yeah.
don't just
So he told the medical director what was going on. Like, he's not focusing on this surgery at all. He keeps telling me to prep an OR so that he can do brain surgery on Brown. He will not take no for an answer. He'd just rather hear from somebody up the ladder, so you're going to have to go tell him. This is the only explosive incident that I have found. So the medical director goes in to the prep room where you scrub and stuff, and he's telling him in his surgery, like, we don't do that here. I don't know where you got the idea that we could do that here. And if you think that she needs that, then you need to transfer her care to a different facility that does do that with someone who's qualified to do that. And Duntsch ended up yelling and screaming at him, saying, this is my patient. I'm not going to give her over. This is what I'm going to do. At one point, he told him to get the fuck out of his OR.
Fun working with you, buddy.
Yeah, the medical director's like, it's my fucking OR. I don't know
First
what
of all,
you're talking about.
that's my name on the plaque outside.
Yeah,
so
so-
you can scrub out and get the fuck out of
Yeah,
my
exactly.
hospital.
He basically told him, like, shut him down. Was like, you're not doing it. That's not happening. You can transfer her out of your care, or I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's, if you think that's what she needs, transfer her out because you're not doing it. And then he just left. So they were like yelling and screaming at each other during a freaking surgery.
but he had patients after that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
Right, he had one more
and that's
surgery.
the problem, Bill.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. They want to lose that neurosurgeon.
There were several other doctors who said that it was possible that she could have used a brain surgery, that might have saved her life, but she needed to be transferred out, like, immediately, and he absolutely refused to transfer care.
But the life did not need saving if he had done his job
That's,
correctly
yes.
the first time.
That's
Yeah.
exactly, that's
I
exactly
don't
it.
think he cared if the life was
If you want to reverse the damage I did, you'll get... It's like,
Yeah.
wait, what?
No, I am
So-
surprised he had a violent outburst, though.
Yeah, and this is one of the only quotes that I have from Duntsch himself. It came from the police interview when they brought him in for the interrogation. He said, quote, I told them if you transfer her, she will have brain death and then she'll die. And they transferred her and she died. If they had let me take care of it right then, she would have lived 100%.
In the ground.
Yeah, you don't know what the fuck you're doing, dude.
Brown was
Yeah.
actually left in a coma for hours and suffered a massive stroke before Duntsch finally agreed to transfer her. And then by that time, there's no point. So, yeah, she was already brain dead by the time that he transferred her out of his care.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But I'm glad
He
you brought
killed
that
her.
up because I forgot that I skipped that part earlier. But yeah, that was his like one big outburst. So that's pretty. Yeah, just one time.
Now, does
even
that,
even a psychopath would have been able, I think, to pretend to care more than he does. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would the time of the violent outburst affect kind of an either or on that scenario, like where he was in the middle of doing his thing and someone interrupted him?
Yeah,
as
that's what
opposed
I
to,
think.
like,
I think
violent-
just being confronted with, and also since they have a problem with authority, the guy's over and he's telling him he's wrong. Of course, he's just gonna. I think he just didn't know what to do.
So, sociopaths just lack empathy.
Yeah, and they have a hard time pretending to have it either. Well, on the other hand, psychopaths can pretend a little better.
But do psychopaths even understand what they're trying to portray?
Or is it literally just mirror mimic?
Yeah. That's the big question.
Interesting.
Because I've heard that like sociopaths know what they're supposed to do, they just can't feel that. And then psychopaths have no idea what it means to, like, what is sadness? I don't know. That's why I kill people, to get a rise or whatever, you know?
To feel something.
Yeah, to feel something, because they don't know what they're supposed to be feeling. They don't feel anything, ever.
I think they know what they're supposed to be feeling because they can pretend to feel it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like they have an idea.
We're good.
Wait, I have one question. When he got arrested, was he wearing those scrubs?
Oh,
I don't know.
I gotta know.
Hold on.
No,
This is
no.
my
I'd be
like,
favorite part. This is my favorite part. The reason that he got arrested. So,
Don't skip ahead.
it's my
Don't skip
favorite
ahead.
part.
I need a timeline. Don't skip ahead.
It literally shows just how far down
Yeah.
he got
He
knocked.
got-
But that he's completely still disassociated with what's happening.
Yeah,
to him.
isn't
It's
it weird?
It's so great. It's so great. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't want to.
So the lead investigator on the case revealed that she wanted Duntsch's license suspended while the 10-month probe was underway so that he couldn't take on new patients and they could warn other hospitals. And the board attorneys were not willing to go along with this.
Oh my god!
So board chairman Erwin Zetzler later said that complications in neurosurgery were more common than most laymen believe.
Oh my God! Not in those basic spinal surgeries. Not in a basic spinal fusion.
And it took until June 2013 to find the pattern and patient injury required to justify suspending his license, so they just didn't go along with it. He added that many board members found it hard to believe that a trained surgeon could be incompetent, as Duntsch appeared, obviously. The board called in a veteran neurosurgeon to be like, okay, you've done a million of these. Tell me if it is really that common to mess this up so bad, or what's the deal here?
Do you often cut a dime-sized hole out of your
Oh, but-
patient's
yeah,
esophaguses?
So they brought in Martin Lazar to review the case, and Lazar was really critical of Duntsch's work. For example, he unbraided him for missing the signs of the patient simply bleeding out. He said, you can't not know that and be a neurosurgeon. You can't not know that the blood pressure going down means there's bleeding out and be a neurosurgeon is what he means. So after that review, he was really harsh about it. The Texas Medical Board actually did revoke Duntsch's license on December 6th, 2013.
Fuck.
So,
Took it out of his wallet, beat him up in the parking lot. Good.
Duntsch.
Spit in his face.
Cut him with it.
They didn't do any of that, but I wish they did. Yeah.
And this is the Texas Medical Board revoked his license. He could still go to California or
Yeah,
wherever
wherever he
and get another medical license.
Could jump across the border to OK, man.
If he wants to.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Yes, yeah.
He could be in Oklahoma City right now.
Right now.
Cutting up.
Waiting for
everybody.
you.
Waiting on Bill to get in the car wreck.
On Bill.
Waiting on
Pass on
Bill.
that surgery I was supposed to have.
Oh, Bill.
Good call.
So what happened after he moved to Denver, Colorado, where his parents lived, and his girlfriend, no surprisingly, opted to stay in Dallas without him.
Shoot your shot. This is
Yeah.
your chance.
Yeah.
He's gone. You just go, I gotta go. Okay.
Oh man, go. You
See
should
you
go.
later.
You don't even have to leave.
Yeah.
You just got to not leave.
Babe.
So yeah, he went into a downward spiral. He declared bankruptcy. He had listed debts of over $1 million. Yeah, he was arrested for DUI in Denver. He got 12 months probation and a small fine for that. He was later arrested for disorderly conduct while beating on the doors of a bank. He was just outside before they opened, just beating on the door.
Give me back my mind. I'm a neurosurgeon. Don't you know who I am? I'm Dr. Death.
Yes, and because of that,
Just about $5.
because of that, he was actually taken in for a psychiatric evaluation.
Oh, they really should have done that years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
wh-
going to say, that's what, fucking 15 years too late?
which he actually passed that
Of
psych
course
eval
he did.
because he's a doctor. He knows how.
He knows exactly how to pass it.
So then he went down to visit his kids in Dallas, and he was, this is the best part.
This is so great.
They
God damn it,
have
this
him,
is so great.
They have him on video, surveillance footage, inside of a Walmart in Dallas with a cart, and he is just filling it up. He's got all kinds of junk food in there. He's got like bottles of wine and
Like hats and sunglasses,
pants. He's got clothes and shit in there, and then he just walks out the door with it. So they arrest him for shoplifting.
Oh my
All of
God.
that.
Yes!
He lost his goddamn mind.
Oh, did you try to murder somebody? Just go to a different state. You trying to steal?
From
Son,
Walmart?
not here.
From
No.
Walmart?
I
Yeah.
don't think so,
Not in
partner.
this country.
You going to jail now?
States of America.
Not in this country, you piece of shit.
You piece of shit.
I hope
What is that, $50
You
worth of
can
stuff?
whoever
I don't
you
think
want.
so.
I hope Dr. Death got taken down by loss protection.
Yeah,
loss
not
prevention.
By
even.
an
Yeah.
off-duty cop.
Not even
like,
a
not
cop,
even
yeah.
a regular cop in his performance of PD. Just an off-duty loss
Or
prevention
just the
outfit.
door greeter, like the old ass
Oh
door
my
greeter,
God,
the
like a
80-year-old.
94-something-year-old grandma just like, welcome to Walmart.
Not today, sonny.
Hey, motherfucker! Where the fuck do you think you're going? Hands on your head, bitch! Tackles the shit out of him. Get on the fucking ground.
You think I will shoot you?
Oh man, I wonder if you
Gladys a gun.
It's Texas.
Texas did.
if you walk into
Every Texas Walmart greeter is armed.
Under the teeth.
I wonder if you walk into that Walmart, you know
damn
that big sign they have with all the shoplifters' pictures on it? Do you think he's on there?
God.
You think he's
Oh, I
still on
hope
there?
so.
I have never seen those.
Oh, wait. Hold on. All right, this is kind of embarrassing because I think those are missing persons.
No, they're not.
Oh, God.
No.
I think they're missing persons.
not.
I think they're
No.
missing persons.
Okay, all
At
right.
the Walmart, right?
Dumbasses, and they're just missing kids.
Just blends into shoplifters.
Is that when you walk into Walmart, you're
No,
like,
well,
look at
no
all
one's
those damn
looking for them.
shoplifters.
No.
I'll keep
Someone
my
ought
eye
to do
out.
something about them.
No.
For them. I hope you see one of them and you're like, you piece of shit. And they're
So
like trying to escape their kidnappers.
in other Walmarts, I'm pretty sure that's what it's for.
Today, buddy. Is this yours?
But in Ada, Oklahoma, I know for a fact that it was for shoplifters because I was on it.
You were on it? What'd you steal from Walmart? I'm made of questions.
I don't even remember what I stole.
What did you
from-
steal?
Oh, I stole a walkie-talkie set. I know, I'm really
I love
excited.
it. I love everything
I-
about
I'm
it.
super excited.
Just think.
I am in that same club with you.
Really?
I stole a
I'm surrounded
light
by fucking
that
criminals.
hooked to your stereo. That
Hey,
to the beat.
electronics. You could
What
see
was
where we were
embarrassing
going.
is it cost $20, and when they arrested me, I had a $20 bill in my pocket. So embarrassing.
Good job, Bill.
I know,
Man.
I know, right?
I love you
surrounded
more
by
every day.
fucking criminals.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Hey, we've all done stuff.
And they took me in, man. They took me down and fingerprinted me. And on the way down there, I was like, listen, because he wasn't going fast.
I'm
He
gonna
didn't
pop
have
up
the
in
lights
a
on. And
couple
I was like,
of databases you got there,
you gotta
buddy.
turn them on. I mean, if we're going, we're going. You know what I'm saying? Pop them on. And he did. He turned them on.
I want people to
I want to
see
really
me walking in
embarrass
this.
my
Yeah.
mom and dad right now.
Yeah. So in Ada, I'm pretty sure that's what they're supposed to be for, but in Ada it was for shoplifters. So
God, I hope
that there's
that
a picture of him hanging up in there.
he gained a lot of weight towards the end, you guys. Like,
Yeah, he
real
did.
bad.
Yeah.
Like it's rough. You cannot tell them apart from. I mean, you can't tell the difference so much. You can't recognize him. That's how much weight he gained. He looks fucking terrible when they arrested him. He looks like he hasn't done coke in fucking 3 years. And just ballooned
Yeah, he
out and
probably
gained a
had
bunch
to
of
stay.
weight.
Yeah, he probably had to stay sober.
God, he looks so fucking terrible. He looks shit. Well, yeah, he doesn't have any money.
Yeah. Okay, so in March 2014, 3 former patients of his, Mary Eford, Kenneth Fennell, and Lee Passmore, they all filed separate federal lawsuits against Baylor Plano, alleging that the
Good.
hospital
Good.
allowed him to perform surgeries
They
despite knowing that he was a dangerous physician.
They absolutely did. That is valid.
And then Texas Attorney General Greg Abbott filed a motion to intervene in the suits. He defended Baylor Plano, citing a Texas... Okay, so there's a cap in Texas on how much you can get from a medical malpractice
Of course
suit.
there is. Oh,
Why wouldn't
Texas.
Yeah,
you
I don't know,
fuckers.
because Texas is...
God, they fucking suck.
The cap in Texas was for $250,000. So that's as much as they could get out of a medical malpractice suit.
They probably owed more in medical bills.
And so...
Well, yeah, I mean, we just said the cheapest
Yeah.
spinal surgery is $80,000 up to $1 million.
yeah.
Baylor should do all their reconstructive repair surgeries for free for the rest of their life, and I'm sure that's
Just
not
any
how it
medical
went.
care that you ever need
Yeah.
for the rest of your life. You just come in this building, we'll fix you.
Yeah.
They're making it somewhere else. You can,
You can
do
you
that
can do
for
the
these people.
250,000.
Yeah.
That'd be fine. But then like all your medical stuff is free, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
So they were kind of put off by it. They came together, and then these 2 doctors, Kirby and Henderson, said that's bullshit anyway. They shouldn't be having to file a civil suit because this is obviously a criminal case. So they themselves went down to the DA's office and like pushed them to try some sort of criminal case.
Right,
Baylor,
but then
hold on, Baylor
Ba-
did?
No,
No, the-
Henderson and Kirby, these 2
Oh,
doctors.
okay. These two
Doctors,
doctors.
yeah.
Okay.
The 2 doctors that did those.
I was going to
restos,
get
yeah.
even madder. I thought fucking Baylor did
No.
that. Yeah, they're
They
they're
won't
losing
get
money.
They won't get any money from a criminal case, though.
They pushed him for a
They
year.
only get money from
Well, you
civil.
can you can do both, right?
Yeah, you can do both.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, good.
And
So-
if you win a civil case, it's more likely you'll win the criminal case.
yeah, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, you can do both for sure. You
That
can do
guy
both.
already said we were right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, no, exactly.
He's right there. Just kill him.
So they pushed the DA for like a year until literally the statute of limitations on these potential charges were about to run out. Part of the problem, obviously, was being able to prove that his actions were willful, and that after interviewing the patients and survivors, the prosecutors concluded that his actions were indeed criminal, and nothing short of imprisonment would prevent him from practicing medicine again.
Oh, I cannot agree with that further.
Yeah.
I think that for a narcissist, God complex sociopath like Duntsch, I think the worst thing you could do to him is hand him a mop for the rest of his life.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think that's
yeah.
like give him a paint scraper and tell him I want all the gum out from under that lunch table every day.
And
Like,
he has to say, yes, sir.
and he's
Yeah.
got to say yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
on
he
it.
will definitely hate that.
Oh, I hope that's what he's doing right. I hope he's fucking wrist deep in another dude's poop right now.
Yeah. So, the ADA, Michelle Sugart, who led the prosecution of Duntsch, later recalled that Henderson, Kirby, and Lazar reached out to her demanding to testify against him, which is kind of unheard of because usually doctors don't testify against other doctors.
He did it, and I'm on tail.
Yeah, and they wanted to testify.
Well, when it's that bad, it makes them all look bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Can't
Yes.
confirm.
Yeah, exactly.
Baylor would want it to be a criminal case because they'd want it to be on him and not on
And not on them, exactly.
So that's why I hope that's not why they pushed for it, but I don't know.
Well, no, these doctors are independent. These are the
I thought
ones
those
that.
doctors were from Baylor.
Well, they have privileges there. but I
One
mean,
doctor, they were from different places. They eventually came together.
Dallas?
Yeah, one was from
Okay.
Dallas Med. Well, technically, all of them just had what did I call them?
statewide privileges.
Privileges. All of them just had privileges at these hospitals.
Oh, okay.
So they probably had privileges at all kinds of hospitals. They just floated around and probably knew each other. But
When you're dope like that, they
Yeah,
will
you can
use you
use to-
everywhere.
Yeah.
They will use you anywhere that the surgery needs to be done.
Yeah.
So.
So in July 2015, almost a year and a half after his license was revoked, he was arrested in Dallas and charged with 6 felony counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, the scalpel. 5 counts of aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury, and 1 count of injury to an elderly person, Eford.
And 1 count of shoplifting from fucking Walmart.
Put you away for life.
Yeah.
$400 worth of shit, probably.
So,
You're a millionaire 2 years ago.
You're going to jail for 20 years, and you can no longer shop
Yeah.
at Walmart.
no.
What was that thing, Brother, where art thou? Where he's like, we got thrown out the Piggly Wiggly. Was it just the one or just the whole thing?
The Woolsworth or whatever.
Thrown out of
Stay
the Woolworth.
Woolsworth.
He didn't say, Everett, was it the one or all of them?
Oh, God. She nerds.
So, all of those charges didn't quite stick. They ended up going with the last charge for just Mary Eford, because they felt like that one was the strongest case and it held the biggest amount for sentencing.
Because she was,
elderly, yeah. So the sentencing would range from, I want to say it was like 3 years probation to life imprisonment. And what they wanted to do was use her.
Well, it depends.
I know,
Yeah.
and it depends.
That's
Yeah,
super
It's a
ambiguous.
good one,
yeah.
though. It's a good one.
it's
for
a good
this.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now this motherfucker could sit in a fucking room for the rest of his life.
And their plan was they're going to bring her case, but then in her case they'll bring the other patients in to testify, to show that he knew he was hurting patients before he got to her, and did her surgery anyway. So, indictments were made 4 months before the statute of limitations were to run out. Prosecutors sought the sentence, and for the same reason they opted to try Duntsch for Eford's maiming. He was held in Dallas County Jail for almost 2 years until the case went to trial in 2017.
Good God, in county?
I didn't know you
In
could stay that long in
county.
county jail. I thought it was-
He was actually so broke that he couldn't even afford to get his own lawyer. He had to get a court-appointed lawyer.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
Duntsch.
Yeah.
I don't know that even a really good lawyer could help
Yeah.
him that much.
In trial, they argued that he obviously should have known that he was likely to hurt others, that mainly his failure to learn from his past mistakes demonstrated that his maiming of Eford was in fact intentional. Prosecutors also faulted Duntsch's employers for not reporting him.
All right.
They argued that he was motivated to continue operating because the lucrative salary of a neurosurgeon
Oh, get him.
would solve his mounting financial problems and feed his drug habit.
There it is.
Over objections from Duntsch's lawyers, prosecutors called many of Duntsch's other patients to the stand. According to his lawyers, Duntsch had not realized how poorly he had performed as a surgeon until he heard the prosecution experts tell the jury about his many blunders on the operating table, so he claims. The defense blamed their client's actions on his poor training.
17 years
Yeah.
of medical training.
But only the 100 surgeries.
Unacceptable.
Poor training
100% his fault.
and the lack of oversight by
100%
the
his
hospitals. So,
I can't get over that 100 thing. I can't.
I know.
I can't. It drives me nuts. 100 surgeries in a fellowship.
So he should have had a bunch.
100 surgeries in 2 years. I can't get over it. I can't. That's insane to me. That means that he spent 2 years in his apartment doing cocaine instead of being at his fellowship. There's no other explanation for that. Baylor is a massive medical facility. Tons of patients. Tons of opportunities for someone who is dedicated physician to complete everything. And not even that. You're talking about the state of Texas, where anything that you could do could be signed off on by any number of preceptors. We have residents here that will go out of their residency and into fellowship, and they'll go around with accredited preceptors in every hospital in the city. That's just this city. So you can't tell me that he didn't have the opportunity to go around and get him. He just didn't do it. That's so insane to me. And they were like, all right, you're a neurosurgeon. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's almost like if they make it so far, it's like, well, they've got to know what they're doing. I'm really sleepy, so.
Surely he wouldn't wake me up for this. Like, 1,000 short. That's
Someone
so
forgot to
nuts.
write an extra 0 at the end of this.
I'll
put
do
it in
this
there.
for you.
Oh my God.
It's just a 0. What's a 0? Doesn't mean anything, right?
It means nothing. Literally.
So the DA countered that a 2011 email sent from him to his current girlfriend,
Oh, this thing.
which was sent after his first surgery went wrong, proved that Duntsch knew his actions were intentional. Okay.
This email is insane, by the way.
This is called the Occam's razor email.
Just for educational purposes, Occam's razor is a medical term, which means that whatever it most likely could be, that's what it is. The simplest explanation is right. For example, if you hear hoofbeats, it's probably a horse, not a zebra.
All right, so I actually did obtain the entire full email from court. I have it right here in front of me.
You're not ready. This thing is a whole loaf of banana bread with
Two-
extra walnuts. It's so nuts.
To Kimberly Morgan from Christopher Duntsch.
That's my name.
Sunday,
It's not.
December 11th, 2011. All right. Yep. It's even notarized, y'all. Exhibit number 7.
Wait. Who notarized
Who
it?
notarizes
Did
an
he
email?
notarize his own email and print it out and take it to her?
No, it's
okay.
evidence.
Oh, okay. Right.
Notarize them.
Yeah. I hope you read this and understand this and it grabs your heart in the right way. It would be impossible, or at least a great deal of work, to build this clinic without you. So also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Kimberly Morgan, he was having an affair with, and he was also, she was also the PA, I believe, in his clinic. So.
Gross.
Yeah. So he says, but everything else either is replaceable with a badass professional admin assistant or necessarily avoidable, including several other things that do not need to be mentioned. My point is that outside of the clinic, primarily because of my heart, it is much easier to be without you than with you, on the fence and all over the place with your feelings. It's even easier and, of course, better to do the same with you deeply in love with me and rolling with me like my motherfucking soldier. Either get in, get out, or just run the clinic, and I will even let you off the hook on all of the above if you protect my heart. But if you can't do that, then you can't do anything other than run the clinic in relation to me. I just want to say, most of this sounds like ramblings of a madman.
How much
It does.
punctuation?
Oh, yeah, it
How
most
much
definitely
punctuation was in that?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
No. Okay, continuing. Not because I'm some terrible person with no heart, but because I'm a wonderful person with a sensitive and big heart, the size of Texas, by the way. And most importantly, your words are beautiful, but have a tiny fraction of the significance of your actions toward me in so many ways, for so many reasons, with so many meanings and implications attached to each one of them.
There's no universe where this email was typed by a sober person not on
Oh,
cocaine.
yeah, definitely on cocaine.
It's typed by a person on cocaine. And I bet Texas is like, actually, if you could leave us out of it, that would be great.
It's like reading Carrie.
Don't bring us into this.
We don't need to be mentioned.
There's so much of it.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't-
massive. I thought you were going to read the whole
So,
thing.
no, I'm not going to read the whole thing.
I was like, it's an
Pages.
hour. Yeah, oh, it's nuts.
Because there's pages and pages of it. Like, he just sat down on cocaine and just went to fucking town.
He typed until his high went away.
However, I will upload this document onto the website. So if you want to see this, read it, whatever, you can get on the website, thesirenspodcast.com/case files, and look under Dr. Duntsch or Dr. Death.
And fun thing is that you can do a drinking game with this, where every time you read a run-on sentence, you do a shot.
Shot, shot,
And you will
shot, shot,
die
shot, shot,
by the
shot.
end of this letter.
And Doctor's
Yeah.
death toll will go up.
So he says, you, my child, are the only one between me and the other side. I'm ready to leave the love and kindness and goodness and patience that I mix with everything else that I am and become a stone cold killer.
You know how you say dumb shit sometimes and they're like, oh man, I wouldn't say that. Somebody's going to read that back later in court. Well, check it out, Duntsch. You fucking dipshit.
I mean, yeah. The sad fact is that I would go faster, do better, and catch more respect and honor by fucking everyone in the brain, emotionally and mentally controlling them in a manner that borders on abuse, taking no prisoners, and sending everyone in my way, and especially that fuck with me, to hell for the simple fact that they thought they could, much less tried.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That is 6 red flags over Texas.
Yeah, so
that is bananas.
this is a really long email. It goes on for so long.
That little
long.
excerpt is telling.
I also want to let you guys listen to Kimberly Morgan's testimony. There's 7 minutes of it. Probably not going to listen to all of it. But this is the same woman that he just sent that email to.
Is that the kind of bottle Dr. Duntsch had under his desk at Baylor, Plano?
Been so long, it looks similar, but I can't be 100% sure.
So you're saying Dr. Duntsch had a bottle that looked either identical or very similar to this under his desk at Baylor, Plano?
Dr. Duntsch had a bottle that was clear and had a handle type form. I don't know if they make any other type handles. It was just something, I don't know any other form of this seltzer.
Right, but it was there under his desk at Baylor, Plano.
There was a bottle of vodka under his desk at Baylor, Plano, yes, sir.
Did you ever see cocaine or white powder in the office at Baylor, Plano?
We found, Taiwan Parker and found a bag of white substance in the patient bathroom at Baylor, Plano. Taiwan came to my office and said there was a bag in the thing, please come look at it. We flushed it in the toilet, sir. We didn't. We pushed the whole thing down the toilet system. There's an email from Dr. Duntsch that's dated December the 11th, 2011, and it's to me.
He says, unfortunately, you cannot understand that I really am building an empire, and I am so far outside the box that the earth is small and the sun is bright. It says, anyone close to me thinks that I likely am something between God, Einstein, and the Antichrist. Do you know what he's talking about there?
No, sir.
Did you think he was somewhere between God, Einstein, and the Antichrist?
No, sir.
It says, what is the problem, Kim? It is simply that everyone else is human, and there is nothing I can do about it, and so I pick and choose my humans and try to help them and show them. Give them patience and kindness, and never harm anyone unless they even think of doing the same to someone I love. Did that make any sense to you either?
No, sir.
He writes, you, my child, are the only one between me and the other side. I am ready to leave the love and kindness and goodness and patience that I mix with everything else that I am and become a cold-blooded killer. He begins a paragraph. 1 week and then everything unraveled. At first I thought it was simply my world and that it was too much for you. Then it seemed that it was nothing more than boring to you. So then I thought it was my vodka bottle and neurostimulants, but I watched you closely, and besides concern for my health, you were chill and rolled with me on that. Do you know what that was all about?
Dr. Duntsch has ADHD and takes Ritalin.
You showed and made me believe and then took my motherfucker away. You took my girl away, and I won't forgive you for that for a long time. Do you have any idea what that's about?
No, sir.
Did you come to believe that Dr. Duntsch had stole your Darvocet?
I came to believe that someone had taken my Darvocet, yes.
Okay. And did you come to believe that it was Dr. Duntsch who had consumed your Darvocet?
I believed that after overhearing a conversation with the word Darvocet in it, that it could have been possible, yes.
Well, that was your conclusion. It was more than just possible. You concluded that he took your Darvocet and ate it, right?
I assume he ate it.
And you assumed he ate it because he was on the phone talking about a drug screen that he had undergone that was positive for Darvocet. True?
That's false. I don't know what was the toxicology result. I overheard him say the word Darvocet as the door shutting on me. and I went back to my office.
Okay. And who was on the phone with him?
A laboratory called from either Illinois or Indiana and needed to speak with him.
Okay. And so did that coincide with him doing some type of drug screen?
That would be after the last drug screen, yes. About 2, 3, I'm not sure exactly how many days, 2 or 3, maybe 4 days. But I don't know exactly how many days after.
Now, why did you connect his discussion of Darvocet with a drug screen laboratory with your Darvocet?
Because Darvocet's been off the market since 2007 or 8, I believe.
To your knowledge, was Dr. Duntsch's practice suspended at Baylor Plano at any time?
Dr. Duntsch's practice or privilege?
Privileges to perform surgery.
Dr. Duntsch said that he got a call that he was not allowed to operate. So I can only tell you that he was not allowed to operate.
So if one were to claim that Dr. Duntsch's surgical privileges were never restricted or suspended while he was at Baylor Plano, you know that to be false. True?
I know Dr. Duntsch said that he was not allowed to operate at Baylor Plano.
So what is Darvocet?
Oh my God, Darvocet's
It's a painkiller, isn't it?
It's a pretty hard painkiller. I got it after I had a shoulder arthroscopy, and it was like 2007, 2008. So it was about when they took it off the market. And I came home, and Jackie was supposed to be watching me, and of course she left. And I think I sat on the bed and talked to her for about 30 minutes, even though she wasn't there. And then I got up and I drove to the grocery store. I wasn't supposed to be I had my arm in a sling, and I was really messed up. So it caused hallucinations, and it was all kinds of bad. I think Mom threw the rest of them away, and I went and got something else. So it's not something that you would want to take
And do surgery?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Darvocet is a insane medication to take if it is not prescribed to you.
Yeah.
There are so many things that can go wrong. It alters you in a lot of ways. You like Kim said, you shouldn't even be driving.
I have a pretty high pain tolerance for pain meds, and
cutting open
very
a
surprising.
human body on Darvocet. Jesus Christ.
Could you imagine? Well, it's not just Darvocet. He's now been known to take cocaine and LSD. So who knows how many times he was...
and Ritalin. Let's not forget
and
about that.
Ritalin.
He's got a
Yeah,
script
right,
for Ritalin.
right.
Somebody
Ritalin.
gave him Ritalin.
Yeah. So there's no telling what he was seeing when he was cutting.
Good God Almighty.
Yeah. So after 13 days of trial, the jury needed only 4 hours to convict him for maiming Eford.
2 hours were at lunch.
Yeah, pretty much. On February 20th, 2017, he was sentenced to life in prison. On December 10th, 2018, the Texas Court of Appeals affirmed his conviction because he had appealed, confirmed his conviction by a 2-1 split decision, and on May 8th, 2019, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals refused Duntsch's petition for discretionary review. 4 hospitals that employ Duntsch have ongoing civil cases against them still to this day.
And
they're still fighting them.
that is how
Yeah.
the paperwork is supposed to go. You're going to prison. I would like to ask you to reconsider.
No.
All right. Well, I'd ask someone to ask you to reconsider.
No.
You're going to prison for the rest of
Yeah.
your life.
Well, here's the thing, though. He did not get life without parole.
Lame.
He just got life, so he will actually be eligible for parole in 2045.
And unfortunately, they could argue without his license, he can't hurt anyone else.
Yeah,
He
But-
can go
but he
to
can.
some
absolutely
small
can.
town.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
If he can trick all those people, he can
Yeah, he's
print up.
Yeah,
some
for
documents
sure.
to
He's a
hang on his wall
perpetual
and go
liar,
to some
yeah.
The
small
only
town.
plus side is that he'll be 74 years old when he gets out. That's the only. Maybe he just won't have the energy.
I don't know. There's so
Let's
much you can
hope.
do in your 70s.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That was insanity.
Final thoughts.
The whole thing just makes me so cautious of the medical
sure.
community. Like, if a surgeon's like, yeah, I can do this, I think I'll be like, yeah, second opinion.
Yes, okay, so I'm glad that you said that, because a lot of people are thinking, well, what can we do to prevent this from happening to us? Because other than that online board where you can go and look and see if there's any actions taken against the license, and it might not be there because, you know, this whole thing, get a second opinion.
Always get a second opinion.
It's not rude, and always ask as many questions of your doctor as you want. They should be able to answer your questions.
The plastic surgeon I have right now is a very young man, but he's very, very, I don't want to say egotistical. He's confident, I guess. You know, he didn't answer a lot of my questions. He was just like, I can fix that for you. Don't worry, I'll have you looking great. You know, and I left feeling like, oh no.
Yeah.
And one of my other specialists was like, you should get a second opinion. I never even thought about it. And then I was like, oh, wait, it is my body that's about to be mutilated.
You absolutely should
Maybe I
get a
should.
second opinion.
Yeah.
So,
And another red flag to look out for is if you ask him that or tell him that you're going to get a second opinion, and he cusses in your face.
yeah, very good point. Right. We'll see what he says. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I was thinking about getting a second opinion. Fuck you!
Yeah.
He's like, I'll fight you, Mom.
Do you know who I am? Do you know who my parents are? No, I don't know your parents.
Dad owns a dealer.
Yeah, the best thing that they can do when you say, I think I might get a second opinion, is say, okay, well, I have someone great. Here's this person that I would recommend.
Yeah.
Like, these are several people, like my colleagues or whatever. You can always go to them. Like, transparency is going to be key.
I mean, if they tell you to go to their wife, like, don't do it. But
yeah. But
and never
watches-
forget, surgeons and doctors are just people.
Yeah,
They're
this
just
is-
people.
yeah. So the big ending question, the question that we began with, gross incompetence or deranged sociopath?
Deranged sociopath.
think
Can I
it's-
get a yay?
I think it's true that he is a deranged sociopath,
Yeah.
but I think it's so much more. I think it is egomaniacal, sociopathic, chemical dependence. I think it's a beautiful combo.
I will say, so as a child, his dad was a doctor. His dad was a physical therapist. So apparently the doctor
Were they
thing,
close?
Not near the end.
not from my understanding, they were never really close because he was kind of a troublemaker. But mom and dad were still together. They had a good relationship. He had a brother, I believe, and they had a good relationship with that son. And apparently, according to Duntsch, he was always in the shadow of his brother.
I was about to say, was his brother accomplished?
Yeah, his brother was accomplished, and so I don't know if he had any.
Yeah, they can feel envy.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Sociopaths don't feel feelings, but envy they can fucking feel.
Oh, for
All about
sure.
them.
For
Bonkers.
sure. So I don't know if he had any sort of injuries when he played sports at
Well,
all.
I feel like he definitely did. I mean, also
I
if he
feel like he
wasn't
was
very,
dropped
if
on
he
his
wasn't
head.
very good at football, then he was getting tackled left and right.
Oh yeah.
They were probably
No,
felt
no,
like,
no.
oh, there
You're
he
right.
is.
Yeah, no, he was
So
because
I feel like
there was at one
he definitely has
point,
some head injuries.
I get it, was it a friend or something that said like he just could not understand the plays of football, and he would try to run it over and over again. He would always get knocked on his ass because he would run the wrong thing, go the wrong direction, hit the wrong person, and they would knock him on his ass. So yeah, you might be onto something there. He probably got knocked around a lot because he wasn't very good at it.
They can just exacerbate symptoms and bring them on earlier. I mean, there's so much head trauma can do, and it
Yeah.
can change your personality too.
Yeah.
just completely.
We're always talking about the frontal lobe.
Can't
Yeah,
confirm. Yep. Injuries to the frontal lobe the frontal lobe can cause long-term psychosis, rage indifferences. It can cause dissociative disorders. It can cause all kinds of things.
All kinds of stuff.
I
Like
learned that,
there, Bill.
the medical industry is crazy.
It's bullshit.
Can't
Yeah.
confirm.
Yeah.
It's just insane to me that that those things happened. It's like, okay, yeah, there's bad people, and there's crazy people out there, but then that it happened and was allowed to happen so many times
Over and over and over and over
that
without
is
any
insane to me.
repercussions.
I can't wrap my head around.
But you know,
that.
but going back to the Percocet, how many even nice doctors have gotten their patients hooked on stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, like,
I
Yeah,
also
but
so
that-
it's a
I don't-
slippery slope.
most of the time with that, I'm not thinking that they're like, ooh, I wonder what it's going to be like to get them hooked on this. They're not being malicious
Yeah,
about
like
it.
this
They're just
guy
being,
was. Like, I wonder what would happen if I cut his esophagus off.
Yeah, that's true. That's
I
true.
had
And even-
also heard that he was writing himself prescriptions. That
I'm sure he
that he had
was.
stolen a
come on.
prescription pad.
I can wrap my head around that. I can totally
can
absolutely
see
Yeah.
someone
that.
abusing their power for that.
For sure. But to like maim and
Yeah,
to kill people.
that's weird. And
That's
then
so weird.
I can't wrap my head around people.
It's so
not
funny to me
putting a
that he
stop
was a
to it
drug user and
sooner.
he accused that guy of being a drug seeker and wouldn't give him payments.
what-
That blows my
that's
mind.
bananas.
Because you know he did not fucking think that. He was just doing it because like
It's the
he
pot.
derived some creepy
The
pleasure
pot
out of
calling the kettle.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
bonkers.
For
probably
sure.
in his own mind, he's not an addict.
No.
No.
Right, yeah,
Yeah,
of course
it's
not.
transference.
Of course
That
not.
guy's an
Yeah.
addict.
That's
Absolutely.
transference
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. So incompetence. I don't think there was incompetence there. He had plenty of training.
Yeah, he would have picked up some small skills if
But
nothing
how
else.
much of it, again, like I said, how much of it did he neglect?
Well,
Of course, he had 15 years, but how much of it did he
and
neglect?
this is something that you and I were talking about the other day. The fact that your book knowledge versus your practical hands-on experience.
It's true. Even I could show you pictures of where things are in an ambulance all day,
yeah.
or I could take you down to the truck and let you touch them.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's so much different.
Yeah, and I think maybe the fact that he didn't get as much practice early on in his residency and his fellowship and stuff could have a lot to do with it. He knew where those things were supposed to be, but he didn't have enough hands-on experience. And then you throw LSD or cocaine or Ritalin or whatever you're taking on top of that. And then you throw in his psychopathy on top of that. Disaster all around.
Well, he didn't want to learn either.
No,
He had
no.
that ego from the get-go, even
Yeah.
with the football thing.
I know
So
everything.
he to be a
starts-
neurosurgeon.
Yeah, it starts with the ego, and then through his ego, he doesn't think he needs to learn, so he doesn't learn. So then when it comes game time to go, he doesn't have the training and the skills necessary like to do it. He's just relying on, I got this natural talent or in his
Yeah,
ego, and then
yeah.
he fails miserably. But that ego won't let him tell himself that he failed and he needs to learn.
No,
So it's
yeah.
just he keeps going that way.
He
Going
blames
and
it on
going.
his anesthesiologist.
It's everyone
Yeah.
else's fault because he is the best. That's why he's
the
also not an
best.
addict, and the other people are addicts.
Yeah.
I hope he mops floors
Mm-hmm.
for the rest of his adult life. And I hope that someone else comes along after him and tells him that he missed a spot. That happens every day. I hope it just crushes him.
So he is currently housed at the OBLS unit outside Huntsville, Texas.
If you want to drop by and throw rocks,
If
at
you,
his
if you want to
Yeah,
throw
it's
rocks at him.
Bring him a sandwich.
Yeah.
cocaine is a hell of a drug.
You've reached the end of our episode. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Join Raven next time on the Sirens Podcast.
Do we have an outro? That's our outro, isn't it?